Good morning, everybody. I'm psychologist Dr. Paris Monroe with another segment of DRM Open Sessions. I have with me today Mr. Charles Howell, 22-year veteran of the military. And today we want to discuss why some vets are not going to get well, why they don't want to get well, why they're not seeking help. There's plenty of help out there. Some of it is pretty good, some of it is not, so I can understand that. But a lot of vets don't seem to want to get well. They don't want to do the work. And so that's what we want to discuss today. Mr. Howell, you had some comments too regarding all of this. What were those comments?
My comments would be, I think a lot of veterans just want to be angry and stay angry. I think some of them feel they might lose their benefits if they're taking their meds and show signs of improvement. I myself feel my PTSD is going to be with me the rest of my life. I accept this, and that's part of accepting that it's going to be part of my life, but also dealing with that. My thing is, okay, I have PTSD, but it doesn't mean I have to be angry, doesn't mean I have to be a drunk, doesn't mean I have to be kicking the can all the time and woe is me, I'm a veteran. It's time to get over that. I had my issues with the law and drinking and abuse
Plenty of medications.
abusing medications, painkillers, and I had to come to grips with that. You know, when I was laying in a hospital bed, in a mental hospital, staring at the ceiling, I realized I had to take charge of my care, my recovery, and take charge of my life. And that was being medicinally compliant when they're a medicine that can help me. And listening to my doctor, that was another thing, is taking my doctor's advice, coming to group, getting into a veterans group, talking. And
Actually putting work and effort into this sort of
Yes.
thing. You know, because it does take some work and effort.
Yes.
We can't just sit there waiting for PTSD to go away. It will not go away on its own. Medications won't make it go away. They'll help you cope with it. Alcohol won't make it go away. I don't care how much you drink. You can drink it all. It's still not going to make the PTSD go away. We're going to have to work on this thing, and we're going to have to work on it logically and rationally. We're going to have to take the doctor's advice. We're going to have to go to therapy. We're going to have to put some work into this thing. But I think a lot of veterans do not want to do the work.
they don't.
They don't want to do the work. They're getting a nice chunk of pay every month. They could be getting as much as $3,000, $3,500 a month, and they're afraid, I think, why should I work at getting over PTSD? They're going to pay me this much money for the rest of my life with yearly increases and bumps. I'm in good shape. Throw in my Social Security on top of it, whatever else money's coming in. They're fine and dandy. So are they motivated to get well? No, they aren't. Are they causing suffering in their family because they're not getting well from PTSD? Sure. Is
Yes.
the wife happy? The wife's not happy. Are the kids happy? No, the kids are not happy. They're not happy the way dad is. She's not happy the way husband is. But you know what? He's going to go along with it anyway. I think that's very sad to be punishing your family because you don't want to do the work to getting well. But then on the other hand, perhaps they have tried to get well. They went to the VA. The VA gave them a bunch of meds. They don't want to do that. That's really not making them well. It's only getting them through the day. They went to the bartender. They drank a bunch for a long, long time. That didn't get them well. They went to counseling, a bunch of counseling, and there's a huge amount of counselors out there in the VA and otherwise that don't know anything about how to get someone over PTSD. So I can understand in that regard some of them have gone to seek help, found out the help wasn't going to work, so they quit going. So they're just sitting back, basically taking their monthly paycheck and letting it go at that. I think some of them would want to get well if there was someone that could get them well. I think that.
I agree with that. The only thing I will stand, and this is from me, is I don't feel there's a cure for the PTSD. I've had it for a long time now, but I think with my doctor's help and through groups, I've learned to live with it. And I think when I talk recovery, there's no magic cure. You're going to have to work on your own. You're going to have good days and bad days. I have bad days. I have times that I have to take a break. I'll be doing something and my wife's like, what is wrong with you? I'm like, man, I need to be alone. I leave the house, I go for a walk, throw on the headphones, an hour later I'm fine. I just have to go through these things in my head. Or I have to stop and pray. That's another thing is faith. A lot of guys don't want to turn to their faith. They turn that off. They want to say there's no God because I have PTSD, which is an absolute crock. So you have to find your outlet. It's through the Bible and through help with your doctor and this. You're going to have the PTSD. Like I said, for me, I don't think there's a cure, but I can live, and you're not going to lose your benefits. That's why I want to tell a veteran. You're not going to lose your benefits. You're going to get your benefits. You're going to keep your benefits. The VA wants to see you seeking care. You want to keep your benefits when it comes up to CMP exams, then you want to be seeking, want to show a history of seeking help, being medicinally compliant, because if you're not taking care of yourself, you're not going to appointments, you're not taking medicine, well then there's nothing wrong with you.
And that's how the VA will look at it.
And that's how
too.
VA will look at it.
Yeah.
That's how Social Security in the future will look at it. It's changing, and that's what you need to do. You're not going to lose your benefits, okay? You're going to go in there and describe your day, perhaps your worst day, but you have good days, bad days. A psychiatrist understands that. Not every day. If every day is doom and gloom, and you're thinking about killing yourself every day, then you need to go to the hospital and check yourself in.
Yeah,
Period.
something's got to be done.
Something's got to be done.
Yeah.
No, like I said, there's things you can't do. Like these veterans will tell me, oh, I can't go to a baseball game or the movies anymore. Well, why not? Find the time to go. Stand out in the outfield. Go to standing room only, where you have an exit behind your back and you can leave if that's the issue. Go to a matinee on Sunday morning when there's 15 people in the theater and you sit by the exit. There are strategies out there, things you can do to still enjoy the things you did prior to this.
Yeah, I know, there are things like that, and exposure of that sort is a good way to start beating this thing back. Don't let PTSD completely dominate and ruin your life and your family's life. There are some things that you can do. You, just like Charles was saying there, you can go to the matinees when there's less people. But we need to, go to the stores when they're not so crowded. We need to start gradually getting more and more accustomed to the social circles, the social arenas out there, where there's a bunch of other people. I know these are dangerous times, and many things still remind us of the combat over there in wherever the war was, Vietnam, Iraq, Iran, wherever it was. So there's many triggers out there that still remind us of that and bring us back into those that same battle scene, for instance, flashbacks and all. So I understand that, but we still have our family, and we still have to consider them. We went to war for our country. Now the battle has shifted. The new mission is taking care of the family and stuff. And that is spending time with them. They want you in their life. They want you to be active in the family. They want you to smile, be happy, go out to get a pizza, go out shopping a little bit, go out to the movies every once in a while. We cannot deprive our family of these things because of the PTSD that we got stricken with. We have to start fighting back against this thing. You are stronger than the PTSD. The PTSD is nothing but images in your mind causing your thinking to think. Before the PTSD event, when you were a teenager, childhood, teenager, high school, that sort of thing, you were all sorts of brave and going out there with the gang and partying it up and having lots of fun and driving down the highways and laughing and joking and kidding and teasing, all sorts of good stuff like that. We got to go back to those days. We got to stop going back to the time when we were in combat and in battle. We got to go back to the happy times, and that is what we want. We were brave and bold at those times. We got to get brave and bold again. PTSD is not going to hurt you. It's not going to kill you. I know we got all sorts of nightmares and stuff. We can talk about that another time, why those nightmares are there, what's causing them, and how to get rid of them, which we need to do. Because we got to start sleeping. We got to have peace with ourselves. We got to be proud of what we did. We got to get to bed on time. We got to sleep good. We got to get well rested. So many veterans do not sleep well. Lots of insomnia, toss and turn, bad dreams, nightmares, night sweats, all that sort of stuff that keeps them from sleeping good. Their medical problems are getting worse. More will be added on. and no doctor is able to fix them. No matter how many doctors they go to, the aches and pains still increase. We gotta fight back against this, folks. We can't just sit back and say, I'm getting my money so I don't have to do anything. We have to get well. So if the VA is prescribing you some sort of medications, and those medications aren't doing well with you, you can get a different prescription. They will change the prescription for you. Counseling, I don't know how well the counseling is doing, but we do have to show up at least once a month to keep this thing going here so that they do not take away your benefits. I know a lot of veterans, just like Mr. House was saying here, do not want to get well because they're afraid they're losing their money. But if they keep going to keep their medications up, keep their counseling up, they will not lose their benefits because if that is the case, they are not getting well, so the VA is not going to take away their benefits. If indeed the veteran does say that I'm doing much, much better now, I'm feeling great, the PTSD is no longer an issue for me, and they don't have to take the meds no more, they're not drinking no more, they're not going to counseling no more, then I guess the VA would probably say you're well and would take away your benefits, or at least reduce them. But on the other hand, the VA says no one can get well from PTSD. So therefore, if you're diagnosed with PTSD, your rating should not go down. In fact, over time, it will very likely go up. Get reevaluated, get a bump in your rating. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, I don't think there's a cure for PTSD. I'm on the record for saying that, only because I have it. And that's what they diagnosed me with.
Mm-hmm.
Was that diagnosis correct? That's what they diagnosed me with. But it's not changing as far as in my head, but I'm doing things again that I did before. And when I can't, I don't. There's strategies. I use strategies. We mentioned those already. There's things you can do to do what things you did. Just use your strategies. Take your medicine. Go see your doctor. There's no excuse to not try. Get a part-time job. It's not going to affect your benefits. Get a part-time job. Get out there and do something. Find something to do. You have PTSD, you're not getting on in the police department. They're not going to hire you at the fire department. Most likely they're not going to do it. Not in this day and age. There's jobs you can't do. There's jobs you're going to be able to do. Find something. Use your benefits to go to school. Even getting into a classroom and get your mind occupied.
Yeah.
I just think for me, there's no cure for PTSD, but I say again and again, you can live with it. People with bipolar disorder take medicine, go to group, they're functional. They're teachers in classrooms. They're out there, they're parents. And to talk about the family, you owe it to your family, whether you're married with kids or not. You have brothers and sisters and friends. Enlighten them. Those people closest to you have to understand you. While you're at the Christmas dinner table, something triggers you in your head, and you have to get up and walk outside. So when people are like, oh, what's wrong with him? They understand, oh, no, just that's Chuck, don't worry about it. He'll be back in 20 minutes, just give him some time, but no problem, there's nothing wrong. He's not angry with anybody. They know that in their head.
But we do have to make an effort.
Yeah, but that's part of the effort, is letting people know. You have to talk to people. The ones closest to you, don't go out there and walk down the street with, I have a PTSD t-shirt. But you want to let the people you love know what's going on.
Do you have a t-shirt like that?
Oh, no, I wish I did.
They ought to make them, that'd be good.
They should make them, but let those people around you know. So they understand when you're at the store with your wife or your girlfriend or your brother, your friend, and you're like, man, I got to get out of here. You just start sweating, and you know what I'm talking about out there. If you had it, you feel like it's just closing in on you, man. Whoop, tunnel vision starts. Walk out the door, take that deep breath, walk around up and down the sidewalk in front of the store. Next thing you know, you're feeling better. For me, I'll stop and say a prayer. I'll say, Lord, get me through this moment. I need this time. You know, this PTSD is the devil. I need your help. And you know what? For me, that works because I have faith. That's something y'all ought to seek out. It works really well. The Lord Jesus Christ, the Holy Spirit is with me, dwells among us. All you got to do is ask. Holy Spirit's there to lift that demon. And that's what it is. It's a demon in you, man. And we just have to wrestle that demon and compartmentalize the demon so we can function every day. Does that demon bust away out? Yeah, the door opens and that demon rears its ugly head every now and then. But with faith and with friends, you can put that demon back in its place.
I totally agree with that. That comes up much in my counseling with veterans, of which I do a lot of counseling with veterans. And the big issue that I always push with them, see, I do believe that you can get over PTSD. Maybe not real fast, but maybe not that long either. Every case, every veteran is a different case, and so there's different components to that. So that'll determine how fast it will go. Some go pretty darn quick, some take a while. So, but nonetheless, the thing, as Mr. Howell was saying there regarding Jesus Christ, God, faith, and belief, and so on and so forth, we really do have to consider that. I know to many veterans, the PTSD events that they experienced during their military years is very traumatic, very big inside their head. It fills their head from ear to ear, basically. It's one way of saying it. And they are constantly drifting off, thinking about those events again, thinking about those events again, over and over, all day long. And of course, when they go to bed at night, their brain is still keeping them awake, insomnia, tossing and turning. The brain is looking for answers to what the heck this life is all about. Life was typically good when they were teenagers, high school, childhood, living under mom and dad. It was just nothing but laughs and giggles. Then they joined the military for whatever reason they decided to join the military. Everyone has a different reason. And then they were sent off to war, and they saw the death, dying, killing, bombs, bullets, and bodies that were going on out there in combat, and they got traumatized. Very understandable. So that does fill their head, because that is such a departure, a huge departure from the life that they had previously before they went to combat. And now this has filled their heads, all these bodies burned up, tore up, blown up bodies laying all over. Very traumatic. Some of their buddies got killed, they almost got killed, so I can understand why they're traumatized. But as Mr. Howell was saying too, what is bigger than that? Nothing is bigger than God, Jesus Christ, heaven and hell, and what the purpose of this life is. Once we start getting into that and understanding that and answering some of the questions about that, we start finding out that this thing about what this life is all about, why are we here, what are we here for, what is our purpose, what are we supposed to do, that becomes much, much bigger in our heads than the PTSD. And as we focus more on that, we focus less on the PTSD. And my point is, eventually, when we gain enough knowledge and understanding of what this life is all about, the PTSD thing is so small, we don't think about it no more. And that's a strategy that I try to follow here at West St. Louis Counseling Associates, with all the veterans that I see, and I've had some very good luck with that. And of course, every day is more veterans and more opportunity. So we do a lot of counseling over here for exactly that sort of thing, and we've had lots of good luck, and I see that the luck is going to continue. As the veterans start hearing this rationale, the God thing, the Jesus thing, what this life is all about, when they see how logical and rational it is, how it all adds up and makes sense, they get drawn into thinking on that. And the more time they spend thinking on that, the less time they spend thinking on the PTSD thing, until they come to the realization that the PTSD thing is indeed a very small thing. The God, our purpose here on life, is huge by far, and we want to gain all as much knowledge about that as possible to tell the people that are near and dear to us, our husbands, our wives, our children, people that have been in our life a long time. We can see that they don't know these things either, and they need to know it. That is our purpose of this life. So we do have some good success with PTSD. Everyone totally cured? I don't know. But functioning much, much better? Yeah, functioning much, much better. On the medications, on the alcohol? No. Counseling? Yeah, they may still go to counseling and stuff. They have some pals there. They want to keep that thing going. They want to learn more. So that's all fine and dandy. But the name of the game is we can get well. We can get well. We can get functional. But we do have to do our part. It is not going to fall out of the sky free. The only thing that falls out of the sky free, as I always say, is rain, snow, and bird poop. But not the answer to the PTSD. That we have to put some work and effort into, folks.
Yeah. And to add before we close, I wanted to say, if you are suffering from PTSD, and I know a lot of guys, go to a group, get into a group, whether it's a church or a vet center or the VA, find a group of veterans, a PTSD group, Because you'll sit down and talk to veterans from other wars and realize, wow, they'll be talking about things they went through 20 years ago that you're going through now, and you'll realize, okay, I'm not alone here. And they can give you strategies and things to help you deal and do things in your life. And remember this, I'm gonna bring up something, and it's about the courts. If you're in trouble, or if you're having child care issues, child custody issues, you're going through a divorce, if you're not medicinally compliant and you're not seeing a doctor,
You're gonna
court
lose that case.
is not gonna like you. You're gonna lose. Better get your butt to your doctor, be taking your medicine and trying, okay? I'm in the camp with PTSD. I'm not cured. I don't think there's a cure for it. I don't believe there's a cure for it. But I do believe that you can live a good life and smile and do things, go places, and if you find a good doctor,
Be social.
Be social. That's another big one. Make friends and be social. And find friends that aren't veterans. That's a big thing. That will help. Have friends that aren't veterans. Get a different perspective.
Yeah, get involved
No,
in
they used
other subjects in the
They
conversation.
used to tell us that when I was a police officer. Have friends outside of the police department. That get you a different perspective, because you get that cynical, you become cynical. Vet psychology, become cynical about things. So that's all I can say. I mean, and the faith is huge.
The faith is huge.
It's very big, so.
I have 2 books out there, Amazon.com. You may try to get them. I think those books are very good. I recently updated them. I've sold plenty already, gave away plenty also too, to veterans of course. The one book is the PTSD Trauma and Fear of Death book by Dr. Paris Monroe, that's me. And the other book is This Is What It Is All About, a book also by me, Dr. Paris Monroe. And that book is about what this life is all about. Why are we here? What are we here for? What are we supposed to do? What is our purpose? And I think that is one of the main issues that keeps veterans in their PTSD state. And I don't care if it's veterans or civilians who've also got PTSD trauma from the experiences they have out here. The big reason I see that so many of them stay in that PTSD state is because they don't know what this life is all about. They used to think it was all supposed to be happy, and that if anything goes wrong, God's supposed to jump out of the clouds and fix it for them so they can go on having their happy life. That is, and when they go to the PTSD trauma event that they went through, that they experienced, they see that this life is not at all a happy place, and God is not jumping out of the clouds making everything fine and dandy. So they need some real answers to what the heck this life is all about. Why are we here? What are we here for? What are we supposed to do? What is our purpose? What happens when we die? We have to have some good answers for that, and that is huge in getting over PTSD.
And I want to say, when you got to learn to snap out of it. When you find yourself falling into that trap, that PTSD, you're getting angry, you're out in public, you're mad at home, something's bothering you. You got to learn how to get out of that. You got to learn how to recover. Problem is, people think you're people even think you're more crazy because you're totally pissed off, and then 20 minutes later you're like, hey, everything's good now. They're like, damn, how do you recover like that? Well, because you're learning how to refocus your mind. If it's prayer, whatever you're turning to, that's the key. When you find yourself in the store losing it, get the hell out of there, recover. You can go back in and finish what you got to do. Big part of PTSD is veterans, and I see it in groups, they fall into that anger and they stay there. They take it home, they take it to their wife, they take it to their kids. Knock it off, guys. Ladies, knock it off.
I know, we gotta switch our thinking from this, which is the way everyone thinks, to this, a whole different way of thinking, where we got a whole different perspective on the PTSD
You're gonna
that
get
we went
pissed,
through.
and you're gonna have those days, and you're gonna have moments. I still do.
Yeah.
I still have them. I have nightmares. Sometimes I don't sleep well. There's nights I sleep well. It's gonna be like this. You gotta learn to find that level place in this, and you gotta get there so you can function. Because we all need to be functioning members of society. We have that, okay? Mental illness, that's fine. But you gotta, like any other illness, you gotta take care of yourself. You gotta learn to, my thing with PTSD is to live with it. You have
Yeah.
to learn how to live with it.
A lot of coping, no doubt, a lot of coping
That's it,
until you
just
finally
coping.
get well. But the thing is too, we want to live a happy life. We want to be a great husband, father to our families, or wife, mother to our families, whichever is the case, because plenty of gals come in here too, with PTSD from the war, the military experience that they had. And so, but the big thing is, you want to get well. You remember how it used to be back in the day. You want to get like that again. You want to be able to be social, laugh, joke, kid, smile, go out into the public, in the public square, and be another regular person. Enjoy this life instead of holed up in the man cave or the back bedroom or something like that at home. We don't want to do that anymore. We can get well. We can get substantially well. Totally well, Mr. Howell is one person that's saying, no, you can't get totally well, but I'm another person that says you can get a lot, very close to that, very close, and that's a good start
That makes
anyway.
it a good discussion.
Yep.
That's what makes it a good discussion.
Okay, all right, folks, we're out of time for today. That's all we can do. We're gonna have to cut it off right now. Mr. Howell, thank you very much
Thank
for
you.
coming in today,
Thank you, sir.
and I'm sure
Appreciate
that you will be back another time.
I will.
Look for those
My
two books
pleasure.
on Amazon.com, the PTSD Trauma, Fear of Death book, Dr. Paris Monroe, and the This Is What It Is All About. Both books on Amazon. They're very inexpensive.
And I have no books.
They're fast.
I have his book.
They're fast and short and easy to read. It shouldn't take you more than a couple, 3 hours to read them both, and read them several times if you can. Until next time, folks, thank you very much. We will see you then.